Today on the Topping Show, Kamala Harris blames Trump for the FEMA failures, while on The View, Tim Walz calls for an end to the electoral college. Trump video of Kamala's past 4 years accomplishments or lack thereof goes viral. Kamala Harris in a 60-minute interview is edited in true 1984 fashion. Kamala also tanks in the Polymarket, while Elon critiques Mayorkas for shopping for fancy shoes during the hurricane. Mercedes AMG CEO says that people don't want V8s, they want tech. Jeep is also continuing to kill the V8 as the Hemi Grand Cherokee is discontinued, and Unreliable Dodge Durangos are ditched by Indiana police. All of that and much more on The Topping Show. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of The Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, I see your founder at least twice a day. I say he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, you see, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or a business owner, you can reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also, still trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button and tell your friends, I would greatly appreciate it. Now going over to the business part of the podcast, you have Mercedes AMG CEO says the customers, they want V8, they want tech. Which, is such a disconnect from the consumer. I'm surprised he hasn't been fired yet. This is almost as egregious as the BEW M Series CEO saying, again, those are the premier trim levels for the companies. That's where the enthusiasts buy. And in theory, a lot of payment queens also buy them as well. But I partially digress. The BMW M Series CEO earlier this year said that sports cars enthusiasts, they don't want the stick shift because it doesn't get as good fuel economy, which is so mentally vacuous and moronic. I was almost at a loss for words when I heard that. Because again, enthusiasts buy stick shifts because they're more fun at the track, and I would argue it's scientifically impossible or probably improbable to not smile ear to ear when you're downshifting into a corner. And yet, that's what the BMW CEO of the M Series, their sports performance brand was saying. Now you have something even perhaps the same, if not worse, in terms of ineptitudes. Now the AMG, and again, AMG, that's now a part of Mercedes. It wasn't back in the day. That's a boutique, handcrafted, good old V8 performance series of the Mercedes portfolio. Now this comes to us again thanks to Nico, who's a writer at The Drive. And, well, again, the CEO's name is Michael Shalubi, and I'm not purposely trying to butcher his name. Now, they say, quote, AMG CEO thinks customers buy its cars for tech, not V8s, which no one buys a Mercedes for tech or reliability. They're buying it for fun and performance. Now, it is also a little heartbreaking they don't make any stick shifts anymore, but I digress. Now, he actually says, quote, customers who came to the brand because of the V8 did not come because they just wanted to have a big engine. Well, that's a big part. That's a big component. And there you can see, was this the Mercedes AMG? What specific model is this? In full transparency, I'm not the biggest enthusiast in terms of, I don't know the exact models and SKUs for all the Mercedes portfolio, but on the screen you can see one of their massively cool big old engines. They just cram that thing into the hood of the car. I mean, there's barely any space in there, which sucks as a mechanic, but it's great seeing so much power in there. Now, in the article, they continue to say, quote, Mercedes AMG's next supercar isn't going to be powered by one of the typical fire-breathing, ear-rapturing V8s. Instead, AMG's next supercar will be it's going to be uncharacteristically silent. AMG CEO Michael Shalubi again says, it's clear we're going all electric. Man, they say the Germans don't have a sense of humor. He's got to be joking, right? One would think, but apparently he's not. Now, he said, he says, you might think such news will disappoint AMG consumers. It will. Who are used to some of the gnarliest V8s on the planet. But he believes otherwise. Jeez. And apparently, I know beer is a popular drink in Germany, and I don't think he's inebriated by drinking a lot. But he says, apparently in a serious tone, quote, customers who came to the brand because of the V8 did not just because they want the big engine. They came because they love technology that we put into the car. So when it comes to electric driving, I'm sure they will jump into new tech because it's the latest and greatest they can get, unquote. Which, first of all, no. Mercedes is not a tech company. I mean, look at the heritage of Mercedes. I mean, Mercedes, they invented the internal combustion engine. They have a long track record of making performance and, frankly, most unreliable cars. But, yeah, they're not coming to you for tech. when I think of the entire portfolio of all the automotive brands on the planet, they're not even in the top 5 when I think of like tech savvy companies. You just don't think of Mercedes in that way. Which, geez Louise, as unreliable as a regular car is, imagine if they go all electric. How many software engineers are going to hire who will probably die inside working there to try to make that work? They say, quote, I don't, oh geez, I can't believe they're saying this. I don't want to sound like I know more about AMG customers. Oh no, he does agree with me, the article writer. But this, do they really want this do they want this? They say that, here I love when they talk about the heritage of the company. AMG was founded by 2 former Mercedes engineers to build V8 racing engines. It eventually moved on to creating engines for Mercedes high-performance road cars. In the early 2000s, Mercedes bought AMG while under Daimler Chrysler and began making Mercedes AMG models that were almost exclusively V8 powered. While AMG now makes some other engines, big, violent V8s have always been the backbone of the brand from its earliest days, until now. The idea that consumers bought AMGs for anything other than the hand-built V8s are certainly surprising. Yeah, because it's not. Yeah, that's also German craftsmanship. There is something that people love about handmade engines. You see this the top line of most vehicle automotive companies: the Cadillac CTS 4V Blackwing, as well as the Cadillac CT 5V Blackwing, both hand-built. One of the very few good things GM makes, and a great, V6 and V8 stick shift power available sedans in the GM portfolio. See, with the Nissan GTR, used to be hand assembled or hand built for that engine. And again, people are willing to pay more of a premium for that. Same with the top line Corvette. I mean, I just can't imagine electrifying AMG. So here's a couple other pictures of look at a massive V8 over there. They say, quote, when you pop the hood of the Mercedes AMG, there's a little metal plaque on the engine that says handcrafted by, along with the name of the builder on each AMG engine, and is assembled by a single person. It's part of the brand. One man, one engine, one philosophy. So AMG doesn't only take pride in the engine's performance, but also their quality. Which, again, you're not going to have that with EVs. It's going to be, realistically, China's dominating that, and they're going to be growing more and more. And with how much regulators are cracking down on manufacturing in other countries, I mean, I can't but wonder maybe Mercedes just white label a Chinese-made product and slap their badge on it and rebadge it. Not all the own possibilities. So, and again, one of my most viewed videos this year, when I was talking about Mercedes in particular, I was talking about how they were walking back from having, I don't know if they're drunk, but they had the idea of a inline-4 AMG sedan for Mercedes. Which again, an inline-4 or a 4-cylinder engine is a great platform for a Honda Civic, especially if you have a turbo and stick shift, as all cars should have by default. I love my little Honda Civic Si. Honda's had a great heritage and history of an inline-4 engine. It's what the customers expect and many of them prefer. In this case, you have a long heritage of making the V8. And then they went to an inline-4 for a little bit, and the customers completely ignored it, and no one bought the damn thing. So they finally admitted, oh yeah, we're going to go back to the V8s. So I hope maybe the pushback is so big from this experience. Because again, maybe all 18 people will buy this in terms of prospective people who are looking for an EV, and you just can't combine the two. And again, Mercedes does have some EVs, but they're not AMG. And they're going to try to turn this into like a performance EV brand, which I don't think really want a performance EV. There's a couple out there already that can dedicate, like Rimac, they make that. But yeah, this, to me, seems to be one of the most ridiculous things Mercedes can possibly do throughout the years, and which is saying something. And I mean, let me know if you think differently. Do you think this is going to knock it out of the park? This is going to be the best decision Mercedes ever made in their career? Do you think sales just explode overnight and everyone will want it and they'll sell out like hotcakes? Or perhaps more, go back to the German euphemism, instead of selling like hotcakes, selling like, what do you sell in Germany? Porsches? Or beer? What else Mercedes? HK pistols? But I only partially digress. Let me know in the comments, do you think this will actually be a good business idea? Will consumers just revolt and go back to something nice, good old V8, hand-built sedan, like maybe a Cadillac CT 5V Blackwing? Let me know in the comments, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting business news, you have Jeep killing the V8 as they kill the Hemi Grand Cherokee. Elizabeth Warren will surely be remorsed, as the car named after her will be going to the grave. This goes to us thanks to James at The Drive, and they say, quote, V8 Jeeps near extinction as Hemi Grand Cherokee L vanishes. They say the only one left is a Wrangler 392, and even then, its days are likely limited. Again, another mentally vacuous thing was Stellantis, the parent company behind, Chrysler, Jeep, and Dodge, when they went bankrupt in 2009. Yeah, they're pretty much forcing everything to go to a twin turbo inline six engine, which maybe is really only well done in a BMW with a stick shift. They perfected that platform over decades. People buy Dodges because they have Hemis. Well, not anymore. And with Jeeps, they usually have good old big old V8s. And now they're going to kill that idea too, because Stellantis profits are only down 50%. Their sales are only down like 30%. So why not make it worse? I'm being sarcastic, but well, not really. I think this will make it worse. Is that the Wagoneer in the picture there? No, that is the Grand Cherokee L. Now they say, quote, though Jeep has never been quite synonymous with the V8s, their gradual disappearance from various makes and models is widely seen as symbolic of the auto industry's decline. True. Those who have seen the way are about to see doom and gloom about the Jeep, which has just cut the 5.7-liter V8 from the Grand Cherokee L. This may sound like a minor loss on its own, but it represented the second last V8 Jeep in production, putting the breed at the verge of extinction. The change was reported by a Motor Authority and confirmed by the Drive Jeep spokesperson, who stated that the 5.7-liter V8 had been phased out for the 2024 Grand Cherokee L in Q3. The three-row Grand Cherokee variant therefore loses access to its class best 7,200-pound towing rating with the V8 offered, though the Jeep spokesperson emphasized that it retains the title with a 6,200-pound rating for the V6. Yeah, they also have to work harder to get that done. Jeep evidently doesn't see the loss of the extra 1,000-pound capacity as a make or break, nor did Grand Cherokee L customers, fewer than 4% of whom ordered the V8 in the previous year, which is only 4% take rate. That's still disappointing. It should be 40%, 50%, 100%. Only 4% opted for the good old V8. So sad. Now they continue to say, quote, with the V8 cut from the regular two-row Grand Cherokee almost 2 years back, the Wagoneer range dropping V8s a year ago, that leaves the current Jeep with the V8, the Wrangler 392. Even it might not be long for this world, though, Jeep revealed a final edition earlier this year, which oxymoronically isn't the end of the line for Wrangler 392. As Jeep confirmed, it will continue into the 2025 model year, so there's some hope. Stellantis sure seems to have a hard time putting a period on supposedly called last V8 models. Just ask the buyers of the totally limited production Durango Hellcat, which, yeah, they made quite a few. They say while the Wrangler 392 does step out at last, it'll put a cap on the illustrious run of the V8 Jeeps. Jeep introduced the AMC 327 powered Wagoners and Gliders in 1965 and the AMC 304s into the CJ in 1973, and even toying with an off-road V8 muscle car called the XJ001. Even though they aren't necessarily part of Jeep's vital essence, V8s still run deep, just not deep enough for them to buy them, which, yeah, more disappointing, sad automotive news today, unfortunately, as Jeep and the Stellantis portfolio continues to just go down the drain. What could have been? I mean, of all the brands that used to just be about good old American muscle, I mean, the Dodge, Jeep, Chrysler portfolio was one of the strongest. And it's sad to see them continue to kill these. And again, it's not, I understand they're also doing this because the government is bullying them and kneecapping them left and right. I understand it's not only because, the company wants this. The take rate also wasn't the highest, though. Again, still 4% does add up because in the aggregate. But it's sad to see. And I mean, I don't know. Personally, I'd only get a good, if I was getting an SUV or big, I certainly go for V8, but that's just me. Let me know in the comments. Do you think folks are going to maybe go to the competition, or do you think the average Jeep consumer really care? Let me know in the comments because, as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the Culture Pride podcast with Elon Musk on Mayorkas, shoe shopping during the hurricane, which is a perfect metaphor for the U.S. government when it comes to when bad things happen, they really aren't doing much. Yeah, well, they are busy sending our resources to other countries that most Americans can't point to on a map, but they are also shopping for fancy shoes, which men should never do. Now, this comes with thanks to Elon Musk on the good old X Twitter. He's actually responding to Mario Naval, and Elon says, quote, maybe Mayorkas could take a break from shoe shopping to look into this. And Mario says, quote, breaking, Watchdog undercovers $7 billion in untapped FEMA funds despite Mayorkas' claim that there is none available. Now, they also noted that, let's see, the DHS Inspector General report found over $7 billion in unliquidated FEMA funds, contradicting Secretary Mayorkas' recent statement that FEMA had lacked funds for future disasters. The funds earmarked for disasters from 2012 earlier could be returned to FEMA's Disaster Relief Fund as Hurricane Milton approaches Florida. Critics are questioning the administration's priorities among mounting criticisms. Which, yeah, $7 billion. Can't imagine losing track of that. And apparently, the person who's supposed to be in charge of this is shoe shopping. Or no, I should specify fancy shoe shopping, which you're a guy, how many times do you buy shoes in your life? I think I bought, last time I bought a pair of shoes was, my gym shoes maybe bi-yearly or every other year. Dress shoes, I think I bought one 10 years ago, and they still work fine. The soles are a little worn, but I mean, men don't go and just buy fancy shoes. It's just one of those pathetic things I think you could do with your time and resource allocation. Especially, kind of reminded us of the situation of Pete Buttigieg, who disappeared for 6 months and no one realized he was gone, and yet their performance of inadequacy stayed about the same. I'll go ahead and play a quick excerpt here really quick. It's from Fox Business, which is somehow still in business. I'm actually pretty impressed.
Chad Pergram has been following the fallout for FEMA and getting help on the way. The trouble is, help isn't always on the way or even that affordable. They're growing back and forth on this about how FEMA is handling this. Chad, what can you tell us?
Neil, good afternoon. There's a lot of sniping over the politics of disaster relief. It's part of this year's elections. Lawmakers on the right are torching the administration. They believe the feds were not ready for Helene. This worries leaders as Milton bears down on Florida.
When you talk to the people who are directly affected, they will tell you that this has been an abject failure. FEMA has lost sight of its core mission, I think, in so many cases, and the administration has not shown that they were prepared for this eventuality and this terrible disaster.
There are different budget lines for money which help cities cope with the migrant crisis and disaster aid, but some Republicans believe DHS is focused on resettling illegal immigrants and not on the storms.
You probably believe that because they spent about, what was it, $640.1 million on that?
Administration seems to have no problem finding money when they want to spend it on their priorities. When they need hundreds of billions of dollars to pay off student loans for graduate students in gender studies programs, they somehow find it. When it's trying to get helicopters to deliver food and water and cellular service and life-saving medicine into these mountain valleys, they somehow can't seem to find the money.
Yeah, it's because they like everyone except us. This Red Bear Valley got 26.4 million views. And here, Elon, one of the first comments is, DHS Secretary Mayorkas shops for high-end menswear as mass power outage continues in North Carolina. It also got 2.6 million views and 10,000 likes, which, again, your job, how is he not? Okay, again, it's a public sector, so people are rarely, if ever, held accountable on the left and the right. This one's instances where, really, you're out shoe shopping and going for fancy high-end. First of all, it's almost incomprehensible in this economy that you have money to spend on fancy clothes. I got this suit when I got this about 12 years ago. The best, I would argue, one of the best ROIs ever in terms of getting my money's worth out of it. And this guy's, oh yeah, during a point where supposedly you're supposed to be doing your job, one of the biggest natural disasters in years, people are desperately in need, and yet he's shopping for fancy clothes. Which, yeah, let me know in the comments. When's the last time you actually bought? If you're a gentleman in the show. Because, ladies and gentlemen, we have different shopping preferences, different priorities. If you're a guy, when's the last time you actually bought, like, dress clothing? Unless you have a job interview or you have a new job. When's the last time you actually bought that? Like, when was the last decade you spent a penny on that? I've been in tech sales and a business owner for 10 plus years. And, shoot, I mean, I got my first suit from JCPenney when I was in college. And this is my second one. I got a jacket for my dad. Like, you don't need to... I don't know. It's just ridiculous. Almost incomprehensible in this economy. In this time, you're out when you're supposed to be on the job, you're out buying fancy clothing. When shoot, even like in IT, when there's an issue, like I work 24 hours straight. If there's some type of outage, there's something like an issue with the manufacturer or a technology client is using, like the private sector hustles when bad things happen. Guys, shoe shop, fancy clothing shopping. It's almost at the point where I could hardly pontificate or articulate my disgust with this individual. Ridiculous. So maybe I'm alone. Maybe all the comments will be giving him an accolade saying, "You go, guy," and everyone needs new clothing all the time. Probably not. But let's go look at the top comments here. Let's see. Planet of Memes, A+, they did in fact respond in meme form. Usually it's about a 50-50 shot. He says, quote, "Perhaps we can stop doing this." There's a starving or a very dehydrated looking individual who's getting a couple drops of water from a taxpayer money labeled water pipe, but the majority of the water is being shot into a very hydrated individual's, And that person is labeled foreign nations, and the person who's dehydrated, I don't know if this is irony, because it's a flood, but nevertheless, it says hurricane and flood victims, getting 456 likes, which, yeah, it's interesting. We spend billions every year helping countries that most Americans can't point to on a map. Some, you can make the argument that in terms of business relationships, they're one of our top 10 trading partners. There's a synergy, so to say. But many of them, quite frankly, were not even their top 10. And even more ironic, their top trading partners are our opponents. But yeah, every time there's a natural disaster, we help out the world. I mean, even just for selfish PR, I'm surprised those countries don't help us out every once in a while. I mean, let me know in the comments. I mean, have you heard about any country, sending in resources, helping us out? I mean, when was the last decade that happened? I'm not saying that those countries don't do joint ventures or joint strategic missions overseas or military team-ups, but like, I mean, when all these natural disasters strike, are we going to see some other country, ship resources here or get, feet on the ground to assist? Can't help but think statistically, and again, I'm not a betting man, but I'd say the odds are quite small. Other top comments comes from the Texas one saying, Mayorkas is running the largest child trafficking ring in the world, getting 432 likes. E. Miles Chong says that money isn't for Americans, it's for illegals, due to 281 likes. Got the Eagleman also says Mayorkas is a traitor, make no mistake about it, get 820 likes. Let's see here. One bad dude said he belongs in prison like many others, and it looks like a bunch of vintage gangsters, and says what people think mobsters look like. They have a picture of, the Bushes, Obama, Clinton, and can't quite make out the person on the very right. It says what they actually look like. Got 527 likes. Let's see. The Meme Lab, which did respond in meme form, appropriately enough, said illegal aliens are in 4- and 5-star hotels. Meanwhile, Americans in Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Florida are homeless, getting 257 likes. And a friendly reminder to click that subscribe button because, as you can hear, I don't have the best speaking skills, even though I did take Toastmasters years ago to improve them. But when I first started the show, believe it or not, my speaking is even worse. But as I've gained slowly but surely more subscribers, my speaking has slowly but surely improved, fueling my theory that the more people that click that subscribe button, the better I will be able to speak, and someday make it through an entire episode, which I could have a perfectly fluent speaking experience for both of us. So if you can do me a favor, click that button and tell your friends. Shoot, tell your enemies. Why not? They might become your friends. I would greatly appreciate it. Go back to the comments of me attempting to read them. You also have, let's see, I'm trying to see if there's any contrarian statements. Thus far, no, not so much. Let's see. Bruce Blau says the money is not for Americans. We aren't supposed to know about that. Getting 157 likes. Ginger says, I feel this now more than ever. It's a picture of Ulysses S. Grant, who says, quote, there are but two parties now, traitors and patriots, getting 82 likes. See here. Oh, Donna Marie also has a clip of Mayorkas from 2021 claiming the border was secure and closed. God, how... Again, a prime example of someone who should be fired for their ineptitudes. Like, the worst border in history. Like, over estimated 11 million illegals in the past 41 months. I mean, how does he still have a job? It's ridiculous. Now, that clip also got 250 likes. And again, mostly agreeing statements. Again, let me know in the comments, what are the odds that this person actually gets, held accountable, Mayorkas actually gets fired for his ineptitudes? I don't know why, it just especially bothers me that you're supposedly on the job and you're shopping for fancy clothes. And again, people there don't have food, they don't have water. It's so viscerally disgusting that his choice of time resource allocation, that's ridiculous. Even though I know he's not a frontline employee in terms of he's not going to be on the ground actually doing stuff, he's more logistics and resource allocation, but it's still just ridiculous. Let me know in the comments, are you surprised by Mayorkas' actions? Do you think he'll ever be held accountable? Let me know in the comments because, as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the political part podcast, you have Kamala Harris blaming Trump for FEMA failure on The View. And I do apologize, this might be visually disgusting both from a visual and audio perspective, because we are going to watch a clip from The View, which I'm actually impressed that there actually enough people watch it where it actually turns a profit, and it still exists. That's almost incomprehensible. I wonder what the percentage is in terms of people who just hate watch it, similar to Howard Stern. But another topic for another time, perhaps. Now, this comes to us thanks to Benny Johnson on the good old X, in which he says, quote, wow, Kamala just blamed FEMA's failure on the Hurricane Helene on Trump, which I'm not surprised. It's one of those cliche things where most politicians will blame the opponent for maybe the first year they're in office, but 3-4 years, really? In Kamala Harris's defense, she was very busy closing the border as the border czar. Oh wait, no, that was an epic failure, tantamount, yeah, the worst failure in history when it comes to the border security. Now, without too much further ado, and oh, I just made the screen bigger so you can see the whole view, which they must have a very high quality wide angle lens. I'm not sure what manufacturer they use in order to fit some of the characters on the view, which I believe the chairs are very high quality. They appear to be wood, perhaps reinforced. Maybe they're actually carbon fiber with wood finishing on it, perhaps. But without too much further ado,
Kamala, because for all of those who are mispronouncing it, I want you all to know how to say it. There you go. But let's talk about something you would do different from Donald Trump. Right now, there is a monster storm barreling towards my state of Florida, a place that's still reeling from Hurricane Helene.
oh, really quick question. I know this is. Do you think Kamala Harris, is that her earring or is that a microphone? There's been a couple conspiracy theories, though, as sometimes I like to call them previews. But Kamala Harris seems to wear the same exact earrings in every interview she does. And since she's been wearing them, she sounds a lot more articulate. Granted, the bar was quite low. And granted, I'm a guy, I wear the same watch every day. But I know from my female friends that they do like to do the thing called accessorize. So why would you wear the same exact earring every single time? Like, I think my sister has like a whole barrel of earrings that she varies from time to time. I mean, that's very unusual. So let me know, do you think there's any merit to that theory? Let me know in the comments.
Of Florida, a place that's still reeling from Hurricane Helene. Trump is lying, claiming that the Biden administration is intentionally withholding aid from the areas where Republicans live and that FEMA funds are being redirected to migrants. Ironically, that is something he did in 2019. What do you think the effect of these lies are, and why is he doing this?
Well, it's profound, and it is the height of irresponsibility and, frankly, callousness. So lives are literally at stake right now. I traveled to Georgia and to North Carolina after Hurricane Helene. In Georgia, I met a woman who, just days earlier, her husband was killed in their home by a fallen tree. Days later, I met with her and her daughter. You can imagine the pain, the shock that they are still in about what they experienced, what they witnessed. I mean, we're talking about real human beings and their lives, and them losing everything. Everything. This woman lost her husband, her child lost her father. People are losing their home with no hope of ever being able to reconstruct or return. And the idea that somebody would be playing political games for the sake of himself, but this is so consistent about Donald Trump. He puts himself before the needs of others. I fear that he really lacks empathy on a very basic level to care about the suffering of other people and then understand the role of a leader is not to beat people down, it's to lift people up.
Absolutely.
Especially in a time of crisis.
How low IQ is that? Just same cliche political platitudes and blaming Trump. He's been out of office for 4+ years. What? Went pretty viral. Got 3.6 million views and 46,000 likes. Which, again, she was smart. She's not. But a smart politician would have said, well, that's what Trump's saying. Here's A, B, C, D, what we're doing. Here's how much money is going to be sent there. Not the $750 per family. And some more might come later. And yeah, also within like a day or two of that happening, she said, oh yeah, we're going to give like $350 million to Lebanon. I mean, I don't know if that was a timed tweet that she had or like a scheduled tweet, but poor timing or just further insulting, Americans, showing how much more money goes to other countries, which again, most Americans have point to on a map. Partially digress. One of the first comments comes from Gunther Eagleman, who says, quote, most people know Trump hasn't been in the office for the last 4 years, getting 3.7 thousand likes. American Sublime says, it never ends. There's a picture of Kamala Harris in 60 Minutes, says, I blame Trump. And it's a little, like the recycle logo, says, I blame Trump. I'm asked a question, incoherent statement, Joker laughter. It got 4,000 likes. Let's see here. Don Marie says, for 3.5 years, they said the border is secure until they decided to blame it on Trump. Getting 1.8 thousand likes, which, yep. Let's see here. American Warrior for Christ says, Donald Trump is not in office. Kamala Harris is Kamala Harris and this entire administration boast about absurdities like climate equity, how is she blaming someone else for her massive and critical failures? Getting 3.2 thousand likes, which, yes, cliche deflection. Abdicated from responsibility. Sec head Sean says, LL, man, this guy does a lot in government considering he hasn't been in office for the past 3.5 years. Milton will be his fault too. 4.1 thousand likes. Savannah says, quote, Trump hasn't been in office for almost 4 years. FEMA operates with a base of budget of 20 to 35 billion annually, which fluctuates based on disaster severity and supplemental appropriations. FEMA's failure fall directly on Democrats elect Alexandra Mayorkas, who used FEMA's money for illegals. There's some screenshots and it says Department of Homeland Security announces $380 million in additional funding for communities receiving migrants. FEMA awards $110 million to the Emergency Food and Shelter Program to assist migrants. Department of Homeland Security announces distribution of more than $77 million in congressional funding for communities receiving migrants. Politico. New York City to get $104.6 million from FEMA for asylum seekers. U.S. Embassy in El Salvador says, quote, Department of Homeland Security announces distribution of more than $12 million in funding. FEMA also said Department of Homeland Security announces $300 million in direct funding to communities receiving migrants and $300 million in new competitive award processes. A lot of dollars. I got 2.4 thousand likes. Let's see, any contrarian statements? VM simply says, here we have the 7 dumbest people on the planet. It's just a screenshot of the view. I got 7.5 thousand likes, which, I don't know if they're necessarily the top. Well, they're not the top, but dumbest. I have like an award for that. There should be up there. I'd nominate them. Scroll down more and more. You have Natalie Soria saying Clown World is Kamala Harris in clown makeup, getting 1.7 thousand likes. Let's see here. Florida One says, what is with the View and Democrats? How do they get to the center of politics from the left? You have low IQ. You have an IQ the size of your shoe size if you watch this game. 42 likes. Or sorry, 442 likes. Let's see here. Proud Source the Truth says, quote, these migrants weren't even here in 2019. How did Trump give them FEMA money? The lies don't even make sense. Getting 600 likes. Luzinski says career politicians will never take responsibility. They all need to be removed. 0 votes. Harris and Dementia Clown have destroyed America over illegal criminals. Getting 349 likes. Let's see here. Yeah. Let's see. Not too many contrarian statements. Here's a Sideshow Bob. No, it's a KG Green Jean Pierre. Yeah, it's about 30 seconds, but probably worth watching. This is from GRHP. Interesting profile name, saying, quote, Green Jean Pierre, spill the beans. This is October 2024 compared to September 2022.
No, Biden did not take FEMA relief money to use on migrants. So FEMA regional administrators have been meeting with city officials on site to coordinate available federal support from FEMA and other federal agencies. Funding is also available through FEMA's Emergency Food and Shelter Program to eligible local governments and non-for-profit organizations upon request to support humanitarian relief for migrants.
Oh, the juxtaposition is too funny. Getting 20 likes. Should get more though. Which yeah, like a number of contradictions at the White House. If I had $1 for every contradiction they had at the White House press secretary, like just $1, I could probably, what could I do? Buy France? Well, might not be saying much. I don't know who wants to buy that, but nevertheless, buy something comically expensive. So yeah, going on the View, not the best strategy though. That's pretty low bar actually. I'm not sure how many good calls Kamala's making these days. But let me know. Do you think that actually helped Kamala in any way? You get some more people on her side? Let me know in the comments, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting political news, you have Tim Walz calls to the end of the Electoral College with mob rule, which, yeah, apparently he has a fundraiser in California, and said the quiet part out loud. Now this comes to us thanks to Aaron Pellish, who's over on the good old X Twitter, which he says, quote, new. Tim Walz calls for the eliminating the Electoral College during a fundraiser at Gavin Newsom's private residence in Sacramento. Now, this is a quote from Tim Walz, which he doesn't even have a good accent for me to mock, unfortunately. Nevertheless, quote, I think all of us know that the Electoral College needs to go, per a poll report. We need national popular vote, but that's not the world we live in, quote. Okay, 1.6 million views, which, yeah. Now, they also continue to say, quote, Governor Walz calls for elimination is not an official campaign position, a Harris campaign official told CNN. Funny how many things they say, but then they backtrack saying, oh, that's not an official position. Which, yeah, they've changed. They flip-flop more than a chef at IHOP, which is presumably a lot because they serve pancakes. Still, I think. I haven't been there in a decade, but I assume. Now, yeah, that would literally mean mob rule. So then you'd have places like California ruling awesome places like Iowa, because California has many more people and illegals than the great state of Iowa, which obviously is not what the founding fathers wanted. Granted, they also want to destroy, I don't think most of these politicians already read anything by the founding fathers, let alone embody the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, or anything. So I shouldn't be too surprised they want to destroy it and just have mob rule, which again, we're constitutional republic. Again, click that subscribe button so I can speak completely articulately. Someday I'll make it through the whole show. Someday. Because again, the more people subscribe, the better I've gotten. Low bar to start, granted, but slowly but surely, some improvement. Going down some of the top comments, Paul Zupa says, quote, Walz wants mob rule, getting 118 likes. Western Lensman says, quote, Democrats, Trump will destroy the Constitution. Also Democrats, we need to destroy the Constitution. Getting 1.7 thousand likes, which, yeah, fascinating how many things they said would happen under Trump actually happened under Biden, like mass censorship. We also had literally the whole world falling into war. Ridiculous. Hyperinflation, gas prices going through the roof. Yeah. Aunt Louise says, quote, they are communists and don't believe in our constitutional republic. Believe them when they say it out loud. Getting 185 likes. True. Jeffrey Evengold says, even come fast enough, every state should join the compact. Probably the only way to do it. So you do have a contrarian statement. So again, he says, quote, can't come fast enough. Every state should join the compact. Probably the only way to do it. Got 205 likes, despite being mentally vacuous. People responding said, not happening, unconstitutional. What else did they say? General Grievous says, the National Popular Vote Compact violates Article 1, Section 10, Clause 3, getting 25 likes. Scott O'Donnell says, you're right, and all you have to do is get 38 of the other states to give up the rights, getting 47 likes. Joey Avery says, why would a state agree to disenfranchise itself, getting 14 likes? True. Perhaps because they have the highest population, they want to rule everything? Maybe. Candace Carter simply says, dumbest comment of the week, getting 10 likes. So while this person did get 205 likes, many of the comments, to him were mostly negative. Let's see here. Sackhead Sean says, this tells you two things. Well, he says two things, but grammar be damned. One, they are scared internal polling is worrying them. Two, they don't love this nation. They want to take the infrastructure and change it. It's the same horrible thing. Getting 169 likes. Let's see here. Nautically tweeting says, that's the rapid majority vote of the American people, getting 182 likes. Johnny Mango says disqualifying, getting 592 likes, which it should. Let's see. I don't think there's any. Well, there's a couple contrarian statements, but overall, most people are siding with founding fathers. And yeah, can't help but be concerned. We'll see what they try to do in that regard. But let me know. Do you think most Americans realize the ramifications and ripple effect that would have to our country? And do you think if they had that knowledge, would they still support these types of ideas? Hopefully they wouldn't. But let me know in the comments, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting political news, you have Trump posting a video of Kamala's past 4 years, and it went viral. Now, this is also reposted on the good old X Twitter, thanks to Libs of TikTok, which she says, quote, new Trump ad is pure fire. Share this everywhere. It's about 58 seconds long. I'm going to pull that up quick here.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
The president's withdrawal was...
Wait. It says, and this isn't edited. This is
than President Biden during the past 4 years.
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
The president.
Full stop. That's a great campaign ad. So you're telling me there's nothing you would have done differently? Keep in mind, we have record inflation, basically no southern border. The economy is crippled with businesses closing left and right and layoffs happening every day. And you wouldn't do anything differently. Bold move, Cotton, as the Sports Balls commentator might say.
The withdrawal was a complete and utter catastrophe. The images of people hanging off of planes and desperate parents handing their babies over the airport walls to soldiers are seared into our country's collective conscience.
The withdrawal was a catastrophe in my opinion.
and there was an inexcusable lack of accountability and negligence.
People illegally crossing the United States. Good music. The reason why I watch a Rumble.
Prices for everyday things like groceries are still too high. You know it and I know. You are right. Prices, in particular for groceries, are still too high. The American people know it, I know it.
Next year, inflation. Again, everyone keeps saying these grocery stores are so evil and, they're making so much profit. Just Google or Brave search the average profit margin for a grocery store. It's industry 2% profit, which is also terrible. One or two bad calls, you're out of business. Those are razor thin margins. I believe Albertsons was 1.6% profit last fiscal quarter. Now, this went pretty well. Got, again, 2.7 million views and 54,000 likes. My first comments coming from Libercrat Media TM saying, quote, absolutely 100%. They should end Comrade Harris's candidacy. No one wants the last 4 years again. And there's an AI picture of Trump saying vote Trump, getting 201 likes, which he also wants to, again, control pricing, which is pure communism. So my family got out of Cuba for. Escape that crap. That's ridiculous. He wants to control prices. Don't forget that. Confiscate guns. I mean, the number of ineptitudes and bad policies is nearly endless, or so it seems. All Zupa says, quote, they make the ads so easy by just speaking, getting 191 likes. Let's see. Dave Sullivan, prosecute Fauci, pronouns, says not a single thing that amazes me, getting 255 likes. Let's see. Any contrarian statements? Anti-woke memes, A+, so they did respond, in fact, in meme form, saying, quote, which way, America? And it's Tim Walz and Kamala Harris, and it says socialism, then it's Trump and J.D. Vance saying Americanism. 498 likes, which I'm not sure if that's a common word, Americanism, but let's make it today. I'm going to start using that in common everyday vernacular. Americanism. Maybe it's not a real word yet, where it's like Shakespeare inventing new words. Go for it. Scrolling down more and more. You have anti-left memes saying, quote, Trump's ad is spot on, and it's an arrow that says, a vote for this, and it's Kamala's really a vote for this, opposed to Biden. Getting 115 likes. Though, I can't help but think it's really a vote for Obama when you look at the history of Obama saying you'd love to have, a third or fourth term, just wouldn't want to be in the office. He literally said, oh yeah, I'd love to just, just put on sweatpants and, you have your little radio and talk to someone, and then you do it for me. Something to that effect. Getting 115 likes. Moon Crow says her own words are the best reason to vote against her, getting 129 likes. Yep. Brian Stewart says Harris is a deer in headlights. It's a screenshot of her from The View, saying the face you make when someone asks your plan to lower the cost of living, getting 26 likes. Which, yeah, that's a pretty good meme. I'll maximize that on the screen really quick. Yep. Sandra says Kamala admits the problems, and she says she would not have changed a thing. Believe her, gained 69 likes. Which, yeah. Again, it's actually impressive how many people are still voting for her just on the campaign of vibes, which you could grant me. I've been doing it for years. It's probably one of the most hilarious memes. It's kind of cliche. It's been done so many times. But this comes to us thanks to the traditional rebellion, saying, quote, don't let her continue to ruin America. And it's a Photoshop picture of her and Biden, and on how do I say this politely so the keep it family friendly, an adult website, and it says interracial couple F entire nation, and that got 5 likes. Yep, I still can't believe she said that. Right part out loud, it definitely. I mean, if I was her campaign manager, I'd be like, what are you thinking? What are you doing? You keep shooting yourself in the foot. I mean, it's one of the worst blunders I've seen in politics in years, just saying something. And I don't see it getting any better anytime soon. And spoiler alert, she has made more blunders from the interviews she's done this week. We'll pull that up here in New York Minute. But let me know, do you think that's an effective campaign ad in terms of, again, I debate how many people are truly undecided at this time. But if someone who, was an undecided voter saw that advertisement, they think, oh yeah, Kamala Harris wouldn't change a thing, and then Biden's done the past 4 years, would that be a compelling reason to vote for her? Or probably for Trump? Let me know in the comments, because as always, it'd be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Other interesting political news, you have Kamala Harris's 60-minute interview. Well, it's edited in true Orwellian 1984 fashion, which, yes, I can't emphasize enough to read that book. It's a brilliant, it is depressing, but one of the best books ever written is 1984 by George Orwell. Or if you have children and a little more family-friendly, you could also have them read Animal Farm by George Orwell, which is much easier to digest in terms of simpler vernacular, as well as, the book length is also much shorter. Both depressing books, but all too reminiscent of what government has become and was supposed to be a warning, not a blueprint, as the meme often says. Now, this comes to us thanks to End Wokeness, which he says, quote, 60 Minutes removed Kamala Harris's word salad in the latest version. 1984 is here. And it's about 38 seconds, and here's we'll do the original one, then we'll see the edited doctored one. Which, yeah, she is, she's one of the few people who makes me look like an articulate, brilliant speaker in comparison, so perhaps I should like her just for that. But without too much further ado.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
Well, Bill, the work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region.
But it seems
so that was a real answer, even with her alleged radio earrings. Again, she has a weird, awkward, cumbersome, large earrings. She used to be wearing that every interview, which, again, there's some things that don't go down style, like a nice, good old Garmin wristwatch, which I always wear. Best price of all time. Fred gave it to me for free. But in all seriousness, don't women like to accessorize? How many times, ladies, I know a couple of you tune in, do you wear the same pair of earrings every single day or for every single interview or every single, job interaction? Or realistically, do you have a drum full when you vary them based on variables like hair? I don't know if you change your hairstyle or anything like that, or outfit. Do you wear the same one every single time? Now, this is one that they edited.
It seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
We're not going to stop pursuing what is necessary for the United States to be clear about where we stand on the need for this war to end.
But it seems that...
So, well, again, this is the original one.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
Well, Bill, the work that we have done has...
Like your brain is broken. And thankfully, it went viral. So tell all your friends, especially about this one. Got 7.4 million views and 79,000... Let's make it 80,000. No, just still 79,000 likes, which... Again, true Orwellian fashion, rewriting all the videos, and again, White House has done this past couple years in terms of rewriting transcripts of Biden when he'll say something in front of a camera, and the transcripts, they'll actually be written perfectly articulately, which we know Biden does not speak like that a majority of the time. Granted, I don't have much of a box or soapbox to stand on or hill to stand on, since I myself aren't the best speaker, though, as slowly but surely more people have clicked the subscribe button, I have slowly but surely improved. I'm serious. The bar was that low. Watch episode 1 and first couple episodes. It's comical in comparison. Now, going to some of the top comments here, you have End Wokeness saying, quote, incredible find by Maze Moore, hashtag MAZEMOORE, easily one of the best accounts for the site. I'll go ahead and give that a like. Yeah, Paul Zupa saying, quote, 60 Minutes has just made thorns worse by doing this and drawn more attention to Kamala's low IQ, and the fact that 60 Minutes is fake news. Getting 1.5 thousand likes. See, not enough people click the subscribe button. I still have his speaking blunder. Brother Eagleman also says, quote, they're trying hard to protect her, getting 845 likes. Never Forget Media TM says, and it's a picture of the 1984 book by George Orwell, saying, quote, this was meant to be a warning, not a guide, getting 40 likes. May says, literally took me something she said earlier, used it in the answer to replace a word salad. The edited version is now up on YouTube and other sites, getting 2.3 thousand likes. Joey Martiano says, there are an insane amount of cuts in the interview. They need to release the full one like they did in Trump with Steele a few years ago, getting 1.6 thousand likes, which we'll never get. Remember when she had her emotional support, Tim Walz, for the first interview after dodging the cameras for weeks and weeks and weeks? That was originally, I believe, 48 minutes long, and they edited it down so that we only got to see 18 minutes. They edited the absolute crap out of that, which I'd love to see the raw footage, just the whole thing, and just see how many blunders she really has. Because I'm sure there are many, many, many. You have a picture of, what is this? Joey D saying, I hope you mean this 1984. This is 1984 election results, where you had Reagan winning every state except for Minnesota, apparently. Is it? He won Hawaii. That's not easy. And again, wow, electoral votes. Yeah, Reagan got 525 and Mondale got 13. Jeez Louise. Yeah, I got 344 likes. AKA says ridiculous, getting 65 likes. Red Wave Press says We don't hate the media enough, getting 387. Let's make it 388 likes. Let's see. Let's see. Any contrarian statements? Not too many. Let's see here. Any contrarian statements? Not really. I'm scrolling more and more. A couple memes of Kamala where, you know, she says the meme is the recycle logo, and it's Kamala Middle says, I blame Trump. I ask a question, incoherent statement, joke or laugh. Getting 25 likes. Hugo says, control the narrative, control the narrative, control the narrative. Getting 91 likes. Take this viral TM as an AI picture of Kamala. It says, word salad, getting 2 likes. Which, let's see. Don Marie also has a picture of George Orwell. Says, boy, did I call her what? Getting 108 likes, which, yeah, it's sad, but very, very true. And yet another reason not to trust the mainstream media, as if we needed yet another one. Why independent media is infinitely, I would argue, more accurate and better ROI in terms of, shoot, most of it is free. It does help if you click that subscribe button, though. And let me know, do you think, how many more times do you think they'll rewrite history and just continue to just splice the video to, in a futile attempt to make Kamala Harris seem more articulate? And how many people do you think are really catching on to the fact that, I mean, just clearly not the brightest and not the best, and she can barely make it through some of these questions, and usually just dodges the question completely and just answers with a cliche. I mean, she loves to say she's born in a middle-class family, which I think she said, I think maybe, does she get $1 every time she says that? I mean, even if she did, that's still, actually, maybe that's how she afforded her $70,000 necklace. Or is it $65,000? It's a comical amount of money to spend on a piece of metal that you wrap around your neck. But leave in the comments your thoughts, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting political news, you have Kamala Harris tanking in the Polymarket, and Elon Musk reacts. Now this comes to us thanks to End Wokeness as well as Elon Musk. Now Elon Musk is responding to End Wokeness. End Wokeness says, quote, Kamala is collapsing before your eyes. And Elon Musk responds saying, victory is not enough. It must be an absolute decisive victory. And there you can see Polymarket, in which they have Donald Trump win at 54%, Kamala Harris win odds at 45.4%. And yeah, after October 6th and 7th, that's where you really see the lines intersect. So Kamala Harris is actually above Trump in terms of odds October 1st through October 4th. And then you can see them completely completely flip. And Trump is going up in the betting market, which, yeah, this went pretty viral. I got 112 million views and 92,000 likes, which, yeah, and again, not financial advice, truth be told. No, I can't but wonder. I mean, you hear about the people who placed money on Trump winning in 2016 who made bank because the odds were so infant. I mean, they're so small. No one thought Trump was going to win. And I can't but wonder, I mean, shoot, how many people are really placing money and placing bets on this? And how many of them will really make bank? Now, the total graph by Elon got 110 million or 110.2 million views and 676,000 likes. Now, one of the first comments comes from Mr. Bigglesworth Memes, who, A+, this time they did in fact respond in meme form. And he says, quote, vote Trump to stop Democrats. And then you have a nice little chart, or meme if you want to feel so fancily inclined, saying, quote, Democrats hate voter ID because voter ID makes it harder for them to cheat. Democrats hate free speech because it makes it harder for them to lie. Democrats hate the Second Amendment because the Second Amendment makes it harder for them to steal your liberty. That got 1.4 thousand likes. Matt Walz says, quote, remember, Elon Musk has never weighed in on an election like this before in his life. He wouldn't be doing this now unless it was extremely important. Getting 11,000 likes, which is very true. I mean, I think more people have been more outspoken about this election than ever before. I mean, a lot of people usually just sit on the sidelines, especially when it comes to business owners. Granted, most of them want, favorable business laws, and, that makes sense for them to vote Republican more often than not. I'd say on average. But, yeah, people are being a lot more enthusiastic this time around. You also have Chuck Costello saying, quote, it must be crushing. There can absolutely be no doubt. We must stay full throttle until Trump is inaugurated on January 20th, period. The red-headed libertarian, which, A+ for her name, she is in fact red-headed and a libertarian, saying, quote, I think people saw this with their own eyes, something organic, getting 1.2 thousand likes. AKA says, must be a big win, getting 352 likes. Democrat Media TM says, let's get it then, definitive victory. This is let me pull up this, see if I can make the graph a little bit bigger, see if we can get the source from it. Now, this is a picture of a 2024 election forecast. I'm trying to see if there's, let's see, it says, live and accurate forecast by the world's largest forecasting prediction market. No, unfortunately, I'm not seeing actually, oh, no, it's Polymarket. There you go, right there. And again, they actually give the breakdown on the states. And you have Trump at 54%, Kamala at 45.4%. And yeah, Trump's gone up lately 3.6%. Kamala's gone down 3.3%. And hilarious enough, it's still not undecided, but the grayed out areas are Nevada, Wisconsin, Michigan. Everything else is different shades of blue or red, depending on if they're going to be, more Republican, be darker red, more blue, darker blue. And interesting enough, and New Mexico is blue more and more and more. Now going back to the main comment section, you also have Paul Zupa saying, quote, Trump's victory. Well, every time I see this word, I think of Trump, so I'll attempt his accent. He says, Trump's victory needs to be huge, mandate in order to save America, unquote. Which, maybe it was the worst Trump impression. Let me know in the comments. Playing on memes, well, they did not in fact respond in meme form. Say, quote, the election must be too big to rig, getting 657 likes. World of Statistics says it's only 29 days to the election day, getting 696 likes. Let's see here. Arthur Eagleman says, correct, let's make a mandate, getting 1.1 thousand likes. A lot of people having the election map of 1984, where again, Republicans won every state except for Minnesota, which, thanks to how they've kind of imported so many people in California and all these states, I don't think it'll ever happen. I mean, I don't think in our lifetime, well, I should change that. With 11 million new illegal immigrants, that might very well happen in our lifetime, but it will be blue. Going down more and more. Let's see. Ian Carroll says, whoa, what changed taking 15,000 likes. JDX responds saying, Trump has too much momentum. There's nothing that seems that she can do right. The Trump train continues to chug along, getting 1.6 thousand likes. Let's see. Dave says, yeah, we need to win big so they aren't able to cheat their way to win. This picture of Trump and Kamala says, Trump does not need to beat Harris. He needs to beat election fraud, unquote. Getting 947, keeps going up. Someone by the name of Adam Lewinsky says, quote, thank you, Elon, for standing up to the Democrat machine. I'm a former Democrat who is now voting for Trump. Trump wants to win. Getting 2.4 thousand likes. It is kind of interesting in terms of, kind of cliche politicians like Dick Cheney. You've had some, like, quote unquote, Republicans, or, let's be honest, rhinos, who recently, proudly said they're going to vote for Kamala. And yet, when you go to, like, these street interviews and kind of polling, actual Americans on the ground, I cannot. And again, I follow people on the left and the right and all different opinions on X Twitter. In terms of the volume of data that I'm seeing, a lot of those videos are having people saying how they switched from Kamala or Democrat to voting for Trump this time. I'm not seeing a lot of people with the inverse. I'm not saying a lot of people said, oh yeah, I've voted for Trump before, but now I'm going to go to Kamala. I mean, I can't even think of one. I'm not saying it's impossible or it's not happened, but I'm just saying I've never seen it. I mean, have you? Let's see here. Hey, let's do a couple more comments. Cheedy says Polymarket is an officer of predictive betting market whose lead investor is Peter Thiel. JD Vance's mentor. Polymarket is not polling platform, and you're in for reawakening. So you do have a contrarian statement that got 1.3 thousand likes. He got 162 comments. I wonder if anyone contradicts him. Let's see here. Yeah. Couple contrarian comments. Not too many, though. Mary Tiles, Texas says, this is why I keep posting. Don't get comfortable. Getting 2.1 thousand likes. Picture of Jerry from, what was that? Classic. Oh, now I don't know if it's classic, but it's been around for a while. Rick and Morty. From Aggie News said, sadly, it's 100% accurate. Do you guys think 2020 will repeat? What happens then? Picture of Jerry in his car. It says, your money is fake. Your food and water are being poisoned. All these wars are based on lies. Your country is run by a bunch of child abusers, and you're too distracted by the BS to do anything about it. And Jerry just kind of looks apathetic. Getting 116 likes. Let's see. Red Pill USA says the most dangerous type of enemy is the enemy from within. There they have a little chart that says all the money we get away. This was reposted by Isabella Maria De Luca, saying so far this year the U.S. has given $24 billion to Ukraine, $11.3 billion to Israel, $1.95 billion to Ethiopia, $1.6 billion to Jordan, $1.4 billion to Egypt, $1.1 billion to Afghanistan, $1.1 billion to Somalia, $1 billion to Yemen. Chandler Bing on vacation there still. $987 million to Congo, $896 million to Syria, $9,000 per illegal immigrant that has entered the United States, and Americans who have lost everything to Hurricane Helen will be getting $750 courtesy of FEMA. Got 461 likes. Yeah, money loves to go overseas. Well, I should clarify, our politicians love to support citizens overseas, those citizens. So and again, there are a lot. I mean, it's not the only betting market, predictive analytical market out there. There are a lot of other ones. It'll be interesting to see overall what the overall trend is in terms of Trump versus Kamala. Let me know. And again, there's no such thing as a perfect sample size. There's there's better that you can get. But do you think this is accurate in terms of the predictive market? Do you think overall Trump is the odds are greater than Kamala? Let me know in the comments because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the business blunder of the day, you have unreliable Dodge Durangos being ditched by the Indiana police, which isn't good considering, again, they get those large, massive fleet contracts. And it's even more pathetic when you consider the competition, because it's cliche, but unions protect unions. So, and also, depending on how you define American made versus, companies manufactured here versus headquartered here, there's a reason why pretty much every police department in the United States uses Chevrolet or Ford, as well as, Dodge, because this part of the big three, the United Auto Workers, are the largest auto union out there. And, they get those vehicles and sometimes they run. Sometimes they don't. Now, this comes with thanks to Nika, who says, is working at the drive, saying, quote, Indiana police will liquidate busted Dodge Durangos, saying Stellantis won't help, which, that's not good. The police chief says, especially bad PR, saying, quote, all of us, taxpayers and police departments alike, have paid for a compromised product, and Dodge has failed to take responsibility. Which here you can see one of those iconic Dodge Durangos. This is a pursuit vehicle, which, I mean, there's a volume. I mean, let's be honest, it's usually General Motors or predominantly Ford when it comes to these fleet sales, but still, these are pretty good contracts, so you definitely don't want to mess them up. And if all the vehicles make reliable, presumably you want to make the one where they do the nice big bulk purchase orders. So definitely not smart to piss off the public sector in this regard. And I say, quote, police departments across Indiana, including the Indiana State Police, have been experiencing widespread engine failures on the new Dodge Durango Pursuit cruisers. Despite being just a few years old, oil coolers are failing in many Dodge Durango cop cars and killing engines that one department has decided to sell its vehicle at a big loss because Stellantis has allegedly failed to help. Now, so police chief, I'm not trying to butcher this pronunciation, Castellanos Nunez, N-U-S-E-S, Nunces, says, quote, we are forced to make a difficult decision to prematurely sell these Durangos, incurring a significant financial loss for the department and ultimately for you, the taxpayers. The situation is not just disappointing, it's fundamentally unfair. All of us, taxpayers and police departments alike, have paid for a compromised product, and Dodge has failed to take responsibility or provide a viable solution, nor have they offered any type of compensation for the downtime of these vehicles. This has left us in a bind, struggling to fulfill our duty to protect and serve. There you see the interior of one of those Dodge Durango Pursuit vehicles. Now they say, quote, the issue stems from oil coolers failing, leading to a coolant and engine oil combining to create a terrifying milky mixture that all car enthusiasts fear, which, talking about rudimentary, pathetic mistake, this leads to the engine damage and sometimes complete failure. Many Dodge Durangos reportedly failed before reaching 15,000 miles. Yet another reason to buy a Honda or a Toyota, because those last hundreds of thousands, if not millions of miles, depending on how you take care of them. So these are failing as early as 15,000 miles. It's almost incomprehendibly bad. 15? Nothing. They say, quote, after trying to manage the problem since late 2022, Nunces wrote that in May of this year, Stellantis finally promised they'd issue revised parts to the department within 2 weeks. But 4 months later, the department says it's still yet to receive any parts. No parts, no financial compensation, no help. Which, I don't know how bad you are as a sales representative or customer support representative to not respond to one of these. Again, you get to the level when you have Stellantis or Dodge, which again Stellantis bought out, so it's part of the portfolio. You usually have someone who's dedicated to the public sector. Usually you're divided based on geography. Again, we have a customer support issue. I mean, it doesn't take so much effort to respond. It takes maybe a little more effort to put a conference call together. You actually get these parts going. But it's not like they're asking for a magical new part that's never been manufactured before. It's just ridiculous. Now, let's say, quote, according to CBS, Stellantis releases the following statement. Oh, this is funny. Not the best thing to say when someone's saying your product sucks. I wouldn't recommend this, but I'm not a publicist. Let me know what your thoughts are. They say, quote, the Dodge Durango Pursuit meets or exceeds all applicable federal motor vehicle safety standards and is subject to severe operating conditions to which standard retail version Dodge Durango is immune. Let me stop that right there. As they say, quote, it's all safety standards, which, we're not talking about that today, but still, they want to be a little cliche, put out everything in there they can. They say, quote, further, a certain oil cooler issues are difficult to detect, which may lead to collateral damage and highly complex remedy. We sincerely regret any inconvenience caused by our valued police community customers and are working to expedite service for all affected vehicles. It's only taking them months to get, or what is it, 2 years to get to responding? Since the latest model launched in 2018, it has been deployed in thousands of police agencies across North America, and overall feedback has been exemplary. Are certain cooler issues really difficult to detect? How about replacing the... again, this is, end quote, this is now the drive, end quote. Are certain oil cooler issues really difficult to detect? How about just replacing the faulty ones with some that work? Without a fix from Stellantis, police departments were forced to put out even more tax dollars on expensive repairs and even entire engine replacements. Jeez. Additionally, cruisers, which often come out of the commission somewhere from 4 to 8 weeks during those repairs, a police cruiser breaking down on the way to emergency can be disastrous, so you'd imagine Stellantis want to help. Now, Nunez apparently doesn't have much of a choice to unload the failing Durangos at a loss, just to recoup some sunken cost and be replacing them. However, to quote, mitigate that financial impact of the situation, he has asked the Indiana Attorney General for assistance, which I don't say it's very often, but buy Ford, buy GM. Granted, it's still not going to be the best in terms of if you want a bulletproof vehicle, get a Camry. You might be laughed at by, perpetrators or, bad guys, but you at least get to the crime scene. And, I mean, again, the bar for public sales is so low because, again, there's 3 options that they usually choose from. Because, again, it's the unions protecting unions. I mean, you have Ford, you have Dodge, and you have Dodge Stellantis, and you have GM, which, again, for GM fleet sales or police, it's a Chevrolet brand that, they're all done with. And yet, even with such little competition, now this police department basically has it's not going to be a coin toss, they'll have a preference, but they're not going to go with this company again. Stellantis sales down, again, their profits are down 50%, the sales are down about 30 to 40%. They can't afford to keep making mistakes like this. And again, it's bad PR. Other police departments across the US are going to reference this use case. They're going to see, and again, it takes very little, especially being a business owner, being so customer oriented, and you don't take days off, you respond immediately, you do whatever you can to assist the customer. I mean, one of the biggest frustrations for customers is just not getting a response. It's not getting immediate feedback. And again, if you just let people know, acknowledge their issue and say you're working on it, and even better, give them 1, 2, 3 ABC steps in terms of what you're doing to help them. They didn't even do that. They basically ignored this problem, which added insult to injury. All Stellantis had to do was say immediately, hey, we appreciate your feedback. I don't know how much it would cost. Let's get a tech on site to look at your situation. Let's get replacement parts flowing overnight. Would they lose money on that? Maybe. Maybe in the short term. But long term, that kind of customer service is invaluable. And again, it's almost unfathomable how bad Stellantis is right now. They are in so much deep crap. I suspect they're going to start slashing brands left and right. Because again, there's all of the companies on the planet. They have the largest portfolio. I think they have about 16 brands. I mean, GM is down to 4. They used to have dozens before the 2009 bankruptcy. Most companies are shredding the brands that aren't selling. And it's a little sad because, I feel some iconic, although not iconic enough to sell, brands biting the dust, like Saab, throughout the years. But yeah, to have one of your most important segments of the market, again, public sector sales, not being taken care of properly, and now having insult to injury to the point where they're losing money. They're just going to basically throw the products away or sell them at negative. I gotta say, Stellantis and the Dodge team, that is certainly the business blunder of the day. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in. Again, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.